Welcome to Click Yak Boom.
Yeah, so it's good.
Stay Gray Pony Boy. I don't think Stay Gray Pony Boy. He's a Baton Rouge designer. You should follow him on Instagram.
I don't even IG, so I guess let's go into...
You don't have an Instagram?
I have one, but I mean, I don't have anything. I have one photo that my friend took of us, and she's made it.
So...
Bro, you need to get on Instagram.
I know.
What do you think about...
As a designer and artist, man, you need to get on Instagram.
But do you think you should have two?
I have two. I have
personal one.
I have a personal one and just a strictly graphic design one. Have you seen that? Well,
No, I don't have Instagram, so...
What about Facebook?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is this recorded?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure it was. No. on Facebook.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I think
graphic design on Facebook. There's no structure.
I feel like there's a reach. There's
more
of a reach though. There's more people on Facebook.
You know,
I don't like
agree
it,
with
but
that.
I mean,
I agree with that.
I see where it's coming from.
Okay, so...
Business wise, yes.
Yeah, so I guess it depends on what your goal is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't plan on being... I want to be a designer, or at least be... At a certain point, be an influencer.
Mm-hmm.
So I won't be designing everything that gets in front of me.
Yeah.
Or that I take credit for, right? I mean, so it's not going to be... So you have to be able to... I feel like, so if your goal is just to be a designer the rest of your life, you just want to design stuff and
throw it up on IG.
yeah, then fair enough.
I'm telling you.
You know, I say that.
Yeah,
but
dude,
I think at a certain
throw up
point
the
you have
bullshit work up there.
to be able to contribute to the conversation, right? With whatever conversation that is. So I feel like, you know, when you can post things that can add value to your leadership style, like for instance, that's a Simon Sinek TED Talk or whatever, pretty popular one. It's not anything
And
groundbreaking.
you're talking Facebook?
Yeah.
This is Facebook. It is kind of it's more of a clunky portfolio. It's
But with
I'm
that,
not a big fan.
everybody looks you up and they go straight to your Facebook.
Well,
if you go or you want a new client or a new job, they go straight to Facebook.
It's not even just that, but even just simply SEO when somebody searches.
Mm-hmm.
It'll help you.
A lot of times,
Especially if your name is Michael Lopez.
There's like 500 of them.
Yeah.
In like
in Dallas.
But unless you're an actual agency, I mean, how big is SEO? You know.
Yeah,
well, that's very true.
Because I'm just challenging.
Well,
I'm sorry that I do that.
That's cool. The other thing is, okay, so if you apply somewhere and they start to research you,
That's what you get. No.
you apply somewhere and they start to research you.
Yeah.
What do you want it to come up?
My drunk tweets.
Well, you know, this it could give you an opportunity, and like I said, it does help with SEO and stuff like that. So I feel like it adds value, but you use it different.
Yeah.
This is more like it's kind of like more of a blog than it is a portfolio thing.
I feel like that's kind of what Twitter and Instagram together are a blog.
Well, yeah, I have issues with Twitter because I don't so much want to. I want to be able to add my words to it, but I don't know. I still haven't
quote a retweet.
Yeah. I don't know.
I just recently, I like shunned social media for a while because I was like, oh, I'm over here on Facebook too long. I'm on this too long, and then I recently got a Twitter, so I'm doing that, and then I'm gonna jump over to IG soon.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I would recommend so if you're trying to not just do design, but you want to get to the next level, having a Facebook dedicated to your principles as a designer would probably be pretty helpful. And as far as somebody getting to know you, doing what we're doing right now, the whole vlog thing, or podcast, whatever, that is another way for people to get to know you without having ever met you.
Yeah.
Now, it is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
They will get to know you before they've ever met you, and they can make decisions about you.
Yeah, based
Now,
on-
the good thing though is that you probably don't want to work somewhere where they've already made a decision about you in that way. But it also could make somebody who, for instance, if you don't have all the experience, but you can get on a vlog and speak very intelligently about it, and you can really kind of show your stuff. I think it gives you a little bit of credibility that you didn't have
that little
before.
upgrade. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that,
it's worth it. Which is why we're
I
doing
don't
this.
know. Yeah, there we go. Hey, so would you recommend? So say I'm looking for a new client, and I send them my website. Would you also send a link to your blog or your Facebook or your?
I don't know that I would necessarily call it out, but I would have it
Accessible.
on. So, like for instance, so I really at some point want to include this on my resume, where I can say, visit, or like for instance, have it on the Facebook,
Okay. Yeah.
or on the Instagram, or whatever, where I'm promoting it that way. So it's not a direct, hey, go look at this, but it is. Chances are, they're going to click through.
And they'll
Because
finally
if-
be like, "Oh, here's a video."
Yeah, video, yeah. And then, so I'm hoping to get, this kind of stuff on Vimeo or YouTube or whatever we do. And that's another touch point SEO. Somebody searches Justin Hoerner, Dallas, and it's going to be another thing for that to come up. The other thing is, so for instance, on Instagram, just posting is not going to yield you that much. Okay, so I just started this like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And so a lot of my followers start off from people that I'm friends with.
Your like inner circle, your couple of
for the people that are
Hashtags.
on Facebook, that you can like my Insta. You can connect directly through them because they're the same company. So you can connect directly to them and say, hey, follow my page, invite them to follow the page and stuff or whatever. So the bulk of them are that. But it's pretty challenging, especially when you're trying to do it for free. It's pretty challenging. Now the guy Gary Vaynerchuk, he said he has this really awesome post about it's $1.80. So basically, and what he's referring to is so he wants you to go to 9 people on the top 9 hashtags on Instagram.
Okay. Yeah.
And add to the conversation. Right? So comment, like,
Ooh, I like
post
that.
stuff like that. And not like DMing, requesting a follow or anything like that. It's just you're adding to the conversation, and you're doing that every day. And it takes you. Well, it just depends on how dedicated you are, right?
Yeah.
And basically that you start getting into those feeds and people see it, and you're everywhere.
Yeah. With
Right.
that,
And
so
so you're adding your 2 cents.
here and there.
Well, what's 2 cents to $1.80?
Oh, okay. So, yeah, so,
Anyway, it adds up to $1.80
yeah.
of your 2 cents a day, and that's how you blow up. Essentially, it's his philosophy on it. So I've been trying that, and it's yielding. I mean, it's not drastic. The other thing too is you kind of want to do it when you have a little bit
more stuff going on.
Yeah. So I started off with my portfolio stuff, but I wanted to mix it up. I didn't want it just to be.
Yeah, take a picture
portfolio
here.
stuff. Yeah. So I have the in process stuff I did, Victor, and then this this has been off the press for a little bit, but I said it was this is the press sheet, right? I mean, it's
This is what our Force Instagram needs to look like.
Oh yeah.
you can get there. You can get there.
So
I mean,
like this,
yeah.
this.
A couple snaps.
And with all 3 of us, or 4 of us really,
Mm-hmm.
working on it, there's no reason why I couldn't be.
Yeah.
So we'll get it there.
Even whenever we're in the wall, going over stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, but
But
this,
I don't know how
you
much we can release.
but
though.
Well, so there's different philosophies, and pretty much from what I get
Uh-huh.
on a lot of these successful vlogs
Mm-hmm.
is you giving away the information for free is you're not giving away trade secrets essentially,
Yeah.
because the people who are listening are not trying to rip you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The majority of the people that are listening,
your audience wants to know about it.
wants
yeah.
to know how much you know.
Yeah.
And so the more you can, give away for free and add value,
Mm-hmm.
the more they're going to come back, and the more they're going to listen for. Oh, I didn't know that, or
Mhm.
that was interesting. That, and that's how you get people to engage. That's how you get people to follow, and so I really don't think that it's that big a deal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so even if we're talking about sharing our ideas, like I'm going to be sharing logos that didn't make it, but that were cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's not like giving it away. It's just
Yeah, look at this. Yeah.
It's just something cool.
So back to the 180 thing. So I've just started my Twitter probably like this year, and I'm trying to make it like a personal slash personal as in just me altogether. So I'm a designer, and then I like this, like that.
Yeah.
So one Twitter for me, period. No professional one. And then talking or jumping on conversations here and there, I'm getting random followers, like even designers. Like Ryan would come and follow me off of random tweets, and even though my regular stuff is sprinkled in, and they'll get the clicks, and it also shows you the activity. So how many people viewed it, and then how many people clicked on the image and all this extra stuff. But just commenting on the
that's
the
where
big
the
ones
analytics can kind of come in and give you a good idea of kind of who's listening, who's following, what posts they're liking.
So where do you get your
and what
analytics?
content is getting? Well, for instance, on Instagram, that's the benefit of doing a business. I mean, not business. I mean, you don't pay for it.
Professional.
Yeah, but once you get, I mean, it'll start doing analytics from the beginning, but it will start going into like demographics and stuff like that. Once you get to 100 followers,
you can switch your personal account over to a business account, and basically gives you all the tools you need to see who's following, who's liking, how many people are like organic. Like it tells you all your organic likes versus your inorganic likes, as in like. Not
this person knows this person saw the hashtag.
And you absolutely need to have your does Squarespace have analytics?
Yeah.
Built into it? Okay.
Squarespace has analytics. I know how many people have looked at what page. It shows me which pages they stay on the longest.
So analytics, it means nothing to know all the information. What do you do once you get it?
Well, I would say that once you get stuff that you can kind of tell what people are. So if you for instance, like if you experiment and you see that nobody
like this
viewed it or liked it or whatever, or so for instance, you can see what type of pictures are going to draw
people in. So for exposure, essentially,
right,
testing the water. Okay,
right. And you also can see where people are. It also can help you justify. So, for instance, if you make a post that is promoting your website or a particular page of your website or your blog, you can see where people are getting into the site. So, because it'll tell you whether it was an organic search from Google or something like that, or whether it's a referral.
Yeah.
So, like it's for instance, I had several on mine the other day when I was promoting my website on my Facebook page, and it told me that it was a referral from Facebook.
Okay, that's
in my analytics.
Yeah. And what do you use?
It's Google Analytics.
Okay.
And you just you plug in and then you get a API or whatever. And
it's fairly simple to set up. You just got to go through a few steps, and basically it really does just give you a complete dashboard of who's incoming, who's even on your site. Like right then or right now, it can tell you literally anything, and all you have to do is like with Squarespace, it's super easy, and most sites, to be honest, it's super.
Yeah,
like,
nowadays everyone's just
Yeah.
Google
Mine is-
Analytics is literally on every single site.
Mine is a WordPress, and I have a theme that I bought that I've modified to.
What things you buy?
This one that I'm using right now is Bridge,
Bridge.
which is a pretty popular one.
It's
But it has
from
like
Invader
150.
Market.
different customization.
You got it from there.
Yeah, it has like 150 different themes and looks, and then you can customize it even further.
Is it semi like close to what I showed you the other day? The infold theme.
Yeah, it
'Cause
has
it has
a
it,
version of that.
It has
you
your
can
own
do all,
builder and whatnot.
you can do all that.
See, that's whenever I do end up like redesigning my site.
And everything,
That I want to either do it in like in the unfold theme or doing something like along the lines of that.
Well, if you can get
Just because like the builders, God, they have so many cool little. I'll have to show you a lot of cool like little widgets and whatnot that you can actually use.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
One thing you'll kind of learn pretty quick when you're designing a website is that good websites have good content.
Oh yeah.
And if you are not good at that, website design is not for you. I mean, it's just. I mean, even because you can place. I mean, you can design it with placeholder text, but when you're designing and you don't really have a concept,
Yeah.
it's extremely difficult.
That goes for any design though. If there's no
Well, that's
concept,
true.
it's hard to. Or you can make it look good, but I mean, does it really work all together if you plug it in? Those are templates you're trying to make essentially. You're not. I don't know. I'm not a fan of templates. It's like, oh, that's kind of my job.
Yeah.
Tell me what you want, and I'll give it to you the way it should be.
Well, the thing about web design though is that you almost have to. I mean, because,
okay, yeah, because you get
I mean,
your.
unless you're hardcore and you want to do it all your own,
Mhm.
you're not gonna be able to do it like fully customized. And then also there's certain things that you can design in print that you can't do in web. I mean, you can simulate it, or it'll be clunky, or God forbid you do a responsive site and then it only looks good at one ratio and then the rest of it looks like crap. You know, so it's pretty tough.
So one of the DSVC meetings I went to, Mick Reyes, I think is his name. He worked on Basecamp. So he said designer stuff. He was like, oh yeah, on my personal website, you know how you go to a website and you're like, oh, this looks cool, and then you start moving the window everywhere and to see how responsive it is. He was like, yeah, I've made it to where whenever you start moving it, it says it's responsive, leave it alone.
Oh man, that would make me so happy. I need to go see that. You need to send me that.
Yeah, it's
Dude,
basically
that's
like,
so
no,
great.
it's all responsive. Don't worry about this.
It's responsive. Like it. Oh,
Because I'm on so many websites, so I'm like, oh, it looks cool, but does it look cool like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you try to get it all the way to mobile, and then it's
As a front-end web developer, designer, that's all you do on every single site you freaking go to, you know? Like, you immediately
Drag
just,
it and
like,
then just rip it into pieces.
start moving. All right, how's this going?
The good thing though is that a lot of these themes that you might use in WordPress or whatever, a lot of them they have the mobile kind of built into it. And the other cool thing is you can edit the mobile, so you can have styles for mobile and styling for your full.
That's what's that app, the Adobe app that you did the rebrand? One of the newer
Experience Design.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. I need to mess with that some more.
Experience Design is, I use it a lot more in Baton Rouge. Obviously, I was designing websites, but dude, it's actually a really cool program.
Is it as seamless as it seems? Because I mean,
they're making a lot of updates on it continuously. So I mean, they're putting in a lot of work and time on it. Because I get an update almost every 2 weeks on Experience Design. But it does more like app design.
so yeah.
like it makes that a ton more easier with.
So if I want to make a website, could I do everything in there, and then how do I migrate it to, say, WordPress?
Well,
How do I make it live?
In my experience, and take as my 2 years of experience that I have with it.
Well, it's a fairly new program too.
Yes, but taking it from complete creation from what you've done to a WordPress theme is black and white.
Okay.
Just because you've designed, you've picked apart like the top nav from this. You've picked apart the hero image with the whatever from this. To find a theme to do all that.
Oh no, I'm saying, what if I wanted to hard code it?
Well, hard code it, you can do that. You could hard code literally anything you want to.
Yeah, so if I take it from the program and hard code it into.
Well, you're setting the kind of parameters. So like for instance, right now what I do for Joey is I create I initially designed it in InDesign, and then I convert it to a PSD. So I have to kind of like create the file all over again.
See, have you ever tried doing it on there?
No. I probably should, and it'd probably be good for, but I don't know that can Joey design from that?
Experience design?
Yeah.
No.
And see, so it might be
It's too wonky.
An extra step.
Experience design is mainly for something quick, wireframing.
Okay, just to show it.
Kind of preliminary type stuff.
Okay.
If we didn't have to, like, especially if it was more than like typically the 4 or 5 pages that they typically are with what we do, I probably want to do something like that. But
I'm trying to
pretty much get it.
Yeah.
A PDF will pretty much just let you.
Because that's like in InDesign, you can make an interactive PDF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll work very similarly.
And the thing is, like, have you ever heard of Webflow?
I've seen the logo. Is that a logo?
You've heard of Webflow?
Mm-hmm.
Webflow is getting is somewhat popular right now. Basically, what Webflow is essentially like an experience design that is almost in the sense of a drag and drop. You kind of create your own grid. Create your own grid. You pretty much stay on the grid that they give you. Basically, it codes the entire thing. Like, you basically will have a site that you sit there and build and somewhat code at the same time.
Okay.
You have to pay for like a pro version to like be able to grab the code and alter it yourself. But as a prototyping type device, it's really, really great if once you get past that learning curve of knowing how to, quickly make some prototypes inside the web. And you would really have to actually kind of play around with it to really grasp what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So basically,
like dual screen on Dreamweaver, it shows you code on the side.
Exactly. So take Dreamweaver, yes, and then take, for instance, basically Dreamweaver is like Photoshop on one side, code on the other side. You're just putting it into one.
Okay.
And you're getting the code and the photoshopping at the same time. Essentially.
That's pretty cool.
It's good. It has some drawbacks just because it adds some extra code that's really not necessary.
Yeah.
Just because
it's a machine trying to.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's just this little code box you just plop in.
So on, I guess, back to like personal portfolio.
Webflow could be something you actually could play around with, and you actually might really enjoy it. It's free, like to actually make your own site. Yes.
So with in Behance, it has so every project that someone puts, they put, okay, I used Photoshop and InDesign for this one, or I used Photoshop, Illustrator, blah blah blah. Do you think that's a good tool? Maybe for one of your thingies, hey, for this project I use this, and this.
Yeah. I don't see why.
I mean, yeah, it just depends on what information you want to divulge. I mean,
personally, what I've always just really liked seeing is when people add or create their own icon of the Adobe,
my gosh.
the Adobe like icons, you know? Like the
I've
AI
seen some cool
icon.
ones, but I've seen like, why did you do that?
Well, of course, don't be that guy. But,
Yeah.
I always think that's kind of neat. Like, so if, I mean, for instance, you did want to do something like that, it would be cool to show that.
And
Hey, you know, you designed
icon,
your own
yeah.
like little icon.
Like this entire
I think it's kind of neat.
entire website I made.
Right. Even redesigned Adobe's icon. I just think it's really neat to see.
Okay, so trying to think of what else. As far as so what about resumes and stuff like that? I know we're talking about portfolios, but equally important.
Oh yeah.
Is your resume?
I would say
So,
equal.
I wouldn't say. I'd say it's
I
more
wouldn't.
the
I wouldn't
work.
equal it.
Well,
It's
I
fairly.
would. The reason
some
why.
of them has to go
What,
to
what was
HR.
your, what was your GPA?
That's exactly the reason
What?
why.
HR.
First of all, that's not a need to know basis, and most people don't need to know. 'Cause, I mean, unless it's 4.0 or super high, you know, and to be 100%. When I first started school, when I was young, you know, 19 years old, you know, I didn't really take it that seriously. So my first year, probably, I barely passed anything. But I
was
also
right there with you.
at that point
I was drawing though.
At that point I wasn't paying for it
Yeah.
because I was still getting financial aid and stuff. So I didn't really care about it. Learned that lesson after I ended up having to start paying for it. And at that point, my grades were great, but that brought GPA down. So, because you could only throw away so many.
I feel like
grades.
GPA isn't necessary on.
It doesn't really say.
Because that's what your portfolio is for.
Because to be honest with you don't even need a degree to be a graphic designer.
Yeah.
You just need to be good.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. It'd show you my work, and then.
Yeah. But I will tell you that having applied to just a bazillion different places, your resume is super important. It's the first impression, even before a portfolio.
You need to design your resume.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
If you ever send an agency a Word document,
Oh my god! I get mad whenever they ask for. I've had places like ask for a word, and I was like, I don't want to work for you then.
Well, okay.
design
it will,
agencies
they have to go-
lies.
it will
What?
depend on where
That's
you're finding.
crazy.
Agency, you're right. Corporate though is different
Yeah.
because they use a lot of software
Oh.
for how they're going
It's
to
nuts.
decide
Oh,
who gets to the next level or not. So it is really
They look
important.
for the keywords and stuff like that. I heard that before.
Absolutely, but you know they will also look at.
It's kind of scary if you think about it.
Yeah, well, I have on mine, I have a whole section of skills it does that. It is
That's your
keywords.
keyword section.
all my
yeah.
keyword section about all the things that I have skills in or knowledge about or can do. So marketing, you know, I mean just
So,
basically it's ROI stuff, right?
Mhm.
So I can tell these people that I have experience with AdWords, with analytics, with social media campaigns, you know, the whole thing. I've done, you know, we're gonna do a whole lot of that here at Force, but at least not
you've
yet.
done it. Yeah.
But yeah, I have experience with it. And so having that included in your resume is extremely important. And you know, and I would also say if you don't have a whole lot of design experience yet, if you have some other stuff that is like longer and it's not like, unless it's like you've worked at Cheddar's for, you know, 5 years, like for your whole entire college career to show that you could work in the same place for forever.
Yeah.
Then you know, I would add things that are relevant to
So would you change your resume up at all? So you're applying to, say, a sign place, and then you're applying to Cheddar's corporate office for design. Would you say, hey, I worked at Sonic forever?
well, you typically will be applying to places that, like, so when you go through various rounds of applying to places, you're not typically going to apply to a super wide range of different opportunities. So, for instance, if you wanted to do something that was more in marketing, you absolutely have to have in your resume. So if you don't have so for instance, if you wanted to get into marketing but you don't have direct marketing experience, you have to have those ROI, which is return on investment, keywords in there to show that you know what the hell you're talking about. So when you're talking about, like I said, the analytics, the AdWords, the showing that you have experience with, campaign management, even just like creatively coming up with the campaign, you want to put that in there so that you can, so when somebody's looking at it, and if that's their only attempt to look at you is your resume,
yeah,
you need to make sure you have it in there. So when you're designing it, you need to consider that. And then I definitely believe in kind of the one pager.
Oh,
because
yeah.
if you're going into double digits there, it's
double digits.
People don't want to read.
Yeah.
I
mean, it ultimately, yeah, exactly. Like
attention spans have short.
You want to highlight. It all comes down to hierarchy, which is
their
also
design.
a skill in itself. So you have to list it out in the hierarchy of what's important to you.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question: How important do you think it is that your resume flow with the rest of your look?
Oh, that's your brand. I feel like it's super important.
So?
Of course, you have to be
I feel
somewhat
like it is.
cohesive.
Yeah, I definitely think it. Because your overall look, it's personal promo, personal branding.
Yeah.
But
unless for some reason you want to separate yourself from it. So say, like you have your
extra bright,
somewhat of
kind
an
of thing.
agency feel or perspective to it, and you want to be more of an individual.
I went to an interview one time, and this guy was kind of a pompous asshole, but I really wanted to work there. I was like, you obviously know your shit. You know what you're doing. I can't say.
All right.
Yes.
That's fine.
It was a large company, like giant.
Okay.
They he sat down. He was like, okay, just reading his resume, sitting back in his chair, like blah blah blah. He's like, oh great, Microsoft Office.
What?
He was just hitting me with stuff like that. I was like, oh god.
Like really, Microsoft Office. That's what at a design agency too.
Yeah, well, because I mean, yeah. I was like, whoa, yeah. He's like, well, everybody knows that shit. He just kept going.
How's your PowerPoint skills, bro?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. It is becoming a lost art. Okay, so the way that I have mine set up is I have
so much text.
This paragraph, this basically a benefit statement, and then I have my skills, software skills, which PowerPoint. Dude, you'd be surprised, especially in the corporate ones, because a lot of times the people that are hiring you,
presentation
they're
skills.
Not designers.
Mm-hmm.
So you will freaking wow the shit out of them when and I've designed that one to pair with my my current website.
Okay.
So that it is cohesive, and I created a letterhead. I've created, so for instance, when I do a cover letter, which I highly recommend.
Oh yeah.
Getting a good draft of one, so that it, the other thing too is, I would highly recommend. I always feel like maybe I don't have a lot of credibility when I have 0 awards, 0 certifications and stuff.
I feel like the work speaks for itself, though.
Well, I'm sure that it does to a degree.
I have an award on mine.
One award? Back in 97?
I know I've won. I'm just saying,
participation.
I know my participation medal. 95, baby. 5th grade. 5th grade. I was 5 years old.
Oh yeah, you said you used to submit work over there.
We actually won as a class at LSU. We just won a silver. As an agency last year, we won all silvers. We didn't win.
That's an award. I mean,
we won 6 silvers. But
you don't want to put those on.
No, we wanted a gold, man. Of course, we won top. We won top notch. But anyways, our professors also was always like, you have an Addy award or you have an award of some kind.
Yeah.
Put it on. That's what they told us.
Something is better than nothing, and yeah, so because when you're especially in Dallas, the market is ridiculous. Especially when you get into the higher level positions, the competition is fucking unreal. I mean, dude.
My resume says awards in A.
No, I didn't do that.
Nah.
But yeah, so for instance, like so the way that I've kind of worked this one is this happens to just work out perfectly for all of my design experience. I have basically 4 different ones where I've been an actual graphic designer. But this is starting to. What I've noticed is a lot of places are looking for these hybrid people.
Mm-hmm.
People like kind of
all in one person.
Yeah. So having the whole marketing, slant to your stuff, because your portfolio will obviously speak for the design part.
Yeah.
But
you got to get them to look at it first.
That extra added value. Well, this will help you justify more money. So when you're negotiating, you can go, look, I can make you this much more money with one. Like for instance, I had applied for a while. It was a while ago. It was a marketing director position.
Mm-hmm.
But so I had all my stuff kind of like I said tweaked towards marketing. But then I told them, I was like, look, I can save you guys $20,000.
Just hire me
in one fair swoop with one project,
mm-hmm.
because you won't have to send it to an agency. I can freaking do it.
Yeah.
And but there's those kind of added value. What really sucks about it is that position that it kind of disintegrated as they were. They needed somebody more. They were pitching originally somebody more experienced, and then they had to pull back,
dial it back. Yeah.
And get somebody more junior.
I swear you were asking about the book I've been working on building in.
Yeah. So it was kind of a bummer, but it was definitely something that had added value.
Mm-hmm.
And man, dude, they freaking quizzed me. They were asking me all kinds of stuff about how can you track, so if you have if you do a campaign, how do you track that kind of stuff? And you explain that you can do phone numbers, you can do special pages, you can do your analytics, and all kind of. I mean, they were freaking drilling me. And then I even took this personality test.
I hate
so
those.
what are your
They're
opinions
so
on that?
long. They're so long, and
it took me.
Sit down with me for
like,
10 minutes.
It took me like 5 hours to do it.
It's such a waste of time, and then it's like 5 hours. How much is your time worth?
So tell me what that is. I've never had to do one.
Okay, well, so what? When I was dealing with a recruiter at the time, she was actually really helpful. She told me, she's like, okay, so what's the name of the test? She's like, Google it and learn as much about the test as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
There's different tests trying to figure out different things,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then there's really no real trick to it. You're gonna have to answer the way you think. A lot of them, though, you're gonna need to like Google what words mean. Because I mean, this one had a ton of stuff. I mean,
where were y'all applying to do these?
it was a place in Dallas. It was it wasn't a marketing firm. It was a management company.
Okay. See, those are weird. I don't know.
Yeah, but dude, the money was right. It was right. And it was downtown. It was just everything about it was. It was a Canadian company, so the benefits were fucking bomb.
Those Canadians.
Yeah, like they pay for your health insurance 100. Like they were bomb. I was like, there's benefits for if you can find a place that you can, like for instance, like when I was working at Thyssen, the benefits were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Bonuses
my
were
last place. It was
bonuses
badass.
were freaking amazing.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things, but your portfolio doesn't grow. So those are kind of the things you have to consider. But you approach them differently.
Mm-hmm.
You want to approach an agency, they want to see your creativity.
So with that, would you have an agency resume versus a corporate resume, or do you suggest that? Or
you could probably do double duty. I mean, you don't need to have to start two. I mean, if you want to go board, by all means, dude.
Because I feel like you have a lot of copy on yours, and I look at it and be like, oh, that's a lot to read.
But they're not necessarily reading this, because a lot of places that you're going to apply to, you apply with LinkedIn.
They're not reading that. Well, then why'd you spend the time to do it?
Because they're going to print that shit out, and they're going to put it in front of somebody else, and you want all the information to be there.
Okay.
So
it's copy heavy to me.
I'm telling you.
It's copy heavy. Why would you?
You're right. It is copy heavy, but you have to be able to tell a story. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, so like for instance, this section talks about marketing campaigns, social media management, all that jazz, right? My notable skills, which I feel like I have several, obviously. And then my software skills.
So that's exactly what I see whenever I look at this. I feel like I have several.
And then you need to. I'm trying to sell the company too. So because this is your credibility.
Yeah.
Right. So we have Force Communications, ThyssenKrupp. So nobody knows who Genesis Real Estate is, but here I make them sound freaking amazing.
See, I give them one sentence and then I have bullet points at it. This, and this. Bam, next. Because I want to grab them like this. So like with your portfolio, you boil it down to the meat and you say, okay, this is what I want to give you. So mine is similarly laid out, but basically my skills, bullet points, bam, 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 and then this is the company, this is how long, and then I hit them with maybe a sentence, and then a couple bullet points, and that's what I did there.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, it will depend on where you're trying to get in.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to get to a high-level corporate job,
mm-hmm.
they're not used to stuff like really.
Yeah, okay, I can see that completely. Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna need to have something that represents kind of what they're used to. But at the same time,
that's why I asked about the other.
If you do it cleanly, this will blow their mind when they see something designed out.
You gotta do it right.
Yeah.
It will freaking blow their mind.
I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it's a heavy copy to me.
I had a lot to say.
Justin, a man of many words.
Yes.
Many words.
You know what's funny too? That was one of the things that I had a recruiter, well actually not a recruiter, an HR person when I was interviewing, really kind of tell me that they appreciated. So like for instance, when they ask you, what's your greatest weakness, or whatever, and when you say something that is,
strength.
It really is strength. I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah, really, I spend too much time on my projects.
Really, you come off ingenuine when you say stuff like that.
Yeah.
So because millennials have a stigma about, kind of being like
I believe in myself too much. I'm
not
too
self-aware.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So being honest in those kind of cases are really good.
Mm-hmm.
But you say, look, I'm aware of this deficit.
I'm working on it.
And I'm working on it. And what I ended up telling her was it's like I tend to, I really like to talk. I mean, that's like clearly, as you can tell from, and I turned it into an opportunity to make a joke and make rapport. And it really, added to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyways, thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Yep.
All right, everybody. That concludes this episode of Click Yak Boom. We really appreciate you guys joining us. Please stay tuned for the next episode. More information will be in the description box below. Please like and subscribe this episode so that we can continue to bring you great content. And we just look forward to you sticking with us.